I always use this frame and to say we need to shift this system from being a sicker system to healthcare system. We cannot just treat the sick. It doesn't make any sense. And I believe that sales has a huge impact on moving our healthcare system to become really a healthcare system. And that's what I'm passionate about. It's an amazing phenomena, and it's coming big time. So I'm urging your audience to read about aging, to understand how it's going to impact them. And people today talk. I mean, we just had a conference here in Israel about aging and longevity. And yeah, people talk easily. People should live to 150, 200, even more. Think how many generations you're going to see, Don. And you need to remember the names of all your grandchild and the grand-grandchild. Well, it's going to be challenging. So, but it's coming. And that's the biggest thing for the healthcare, for the entire, for humans.
It's interesting too to think about that, and you know, if we live to be 200, you know, what would the retirement system be? Well, when do you actually decide that you're not going to work anymore? However, I have a good friend that he's 84 right now and still working just as hard as he did in his 20s. So yeah, I completely understand.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
That's it.
what's the greatest leadership advice that you've ever received?
So I'm following, I mean, of course, I had a lot of advices from many smart people over the years. But there is one advice that I didn't get it directly. I actually got it from our Bible, from Gidon Ben Yoash. He was a judge. And that's, he basically said, he said, I'll try to translate it in English. He said, look to me and do so. So leading by example. In my opinion, this is the most important thing in a leader. You can never ask your employees, management, or your team to do anything that you don't show them that you do it. So for me, this is like the one core thing that I'm always going to follow, leading by example. That's the only thing, that's the thing that we should do. And people understand, and you cannot bluff people. They're smart. They see. And if you don't act like the way, they're not going to follow you. So that's a simple rule. Not always easy to do, but we should if you want to lead people.
Yeah, absolutely. That's such good advice. What inspires you?
Well, I'm in the biotech field, so it's the one thing that really inspires me, and in my case I'll give you two examples. One, of course, is the human body. I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at even a sub part of it, like the placenta or the different organ, and I'm amazed by the level of sophistications and interaction, communication. It's such an amazing, delicate, and complicated network of activities that our body is able to handle. We are doing bioreactors. This is what we do for 20 years. We invested hundreds of millions of dollars to try to create a system that will allow cells to grow in the right environment. And I always say the only thing that we're trying to mimic is the creation, the human body. And for my opinion, it's just something that we should admire. All of us are carrying the most amazing reactor in the world. We call it our body. We always complain that we are too fat, but it's an amazing system. So we should have an appreciation to what we carry. It's a big gift. And I can tell you, we do it a lot, and we are probably the best in the world in creating bioreactors, but we are still just getting close to the creation, but we are not there yet. So that's something that I look at it and I'm blown on the day-to-day things that I'm seeing, and that's something that really sometimes you cannot explain the level of sophistications that we see there. And one more thing that really inspires me, and now being in Israel, is this young generation in Israel, especially with the time that we've been in the last year. And I guess the same thing is happening in the US. People say, okay, this is a spoiled TikTok generation. Nothing good going to come from them. But we see the young guys now rising. we see them rising. And we see them saying, guys, you are in the age of 40, 50, 60, you blew it. We're going to take over, we're going to take charge soon. And I see the level of energy, sophistication, dedication, and how much they're willing to make this world and this country great. It's something that I'm speechless. I have 3 daughters in this age, so I just look at them and I truly admire that. And I see it all over the country. And I guess that's something that gives you a lot of optimism that the young generation is actually quite amazing. And I'm inspired by them.
Perfect. What concerns you?
Whew. Well, it's not very difficult to be concerned when you live in Israel nowadays, so that's not a problem. But I'm concerned about people that knows everything. That's my main concern. And today, I think all over the world, we got a bunch of people, many of the politicians that knows everything. And I'm quite concerned about people that are very extreme in their opinions. So I'm saying it's a complicated world. We are like ourselves. There are a lot of angles to what we do. We should try to work in harmony. And I'm very concerned about people that are very extreme in what they do, in their opinions. It can be political or even religious, but we need to be more open-minded. We need to be more flexible. We need to communicate with our environment. We should understand that we are built from these organisms, that they know it. So our body actually contains on the cellular level the ability to do it. And I really hope that we, as the whole organ, will be able to do it. So we just need to make this world better. It's from every aspect, political, environmental, food supply. We have everything on this planet, but we are not using it smartly. And I hope that in small places, we'll be able to create these communities of good and well that are going to work for each other. And we got blessed to live in this world, so we should use the time well to leave it a little bit better for the next generation. So this is where I'm coming from.
Thank you for sharing that. I greatly appreciate, a lot of what you're saying as well, that I feel like, we're so much better together. We just have to figure out how to sort of live together and just be more understanding of each other. And so, yeah, completely agree. Last question, what excites you?
I'm excited by innovation. It's very obvious, but I'm excited by innovation. I must say that I get most of my ideas also when I'm a runner. So after a good run, I started to feel when a new idea is starting to pop up in my brain, and I say, oh gosh, not again, not again, not again. By the end of the run, I'm calling my CTO and I tell him, Leo, what do you think about Aaron? And when he hear me calling him, when I'm taking my breath after run, he say, oh, Yaky, what's going to be now? So I'm excited about, ideas about innovation, how everything is possible nowadays. We have access to unlimited amount of information, which is mind-blowing in my opinion. And a lot of things can come. And, so while we see the news and we see what's going on the globe, I'm quite optimistic about Homo sapiens. We are quite a good creatures and we're able to do a lot when we are working together in a smart way. So I hope that we can transform this planet to a better place, which is deserved to be.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And so, Yaky Yanay, thank you so much for being on the Life Science Success Podcast. I greatly appreciate you being here and for sharing what you're doing with Pluri across all the different industries. It seems like you have an awful lot going on, and I would encourage anybody that's watching or listening to this podcast, just to go out and check out the company. So, thanks a lot for being here, and thanks so much for your time.
Thank you very much, John. And as you said, there is a lot of information on our website. We are also traded on NASDAQ, so on all financial media, you can get a lot of information about Pluri. And thank you for your time, and thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for listening to Life Science Success. For complete details about this podcast, including show notes, how to get in touch with guests, and more episodes, please visit www.lifesciencesuccess.com. If there's someone you'd like for us to invite to the show as a guest, please let me know by sending me a message at the podcast website.